Hey everyone, it's Bethany. Welcome back. In this video, we are making a fun end of the year teacher card. You can make this for teachers, you can make this for the principal or the vice principal, anyone that you want to appreciate. So this is going to be a beautiful stamp set that I used last year. Last year I did it with pastels on all these pencils, but this year I'm going to do very traditional coloring with a very traditional pencil color palette. So the first thing I'm going to do is grab a big old piece of paper, put it in my MISTI, and then cling down this stamp, and then I'm going to stamp it out a couple of times. I like to do a double stamp just to ensure that I have nice contrast, and I do intend on using an alcohol marker. So what I'm going to do is use this Momentum ink because it plays well with the alcohol markers and doesn't smear. So there is the first impression. I'm going to realign my paper to make sure it's still in position so I can re-stamp down, get a little bit more contrast and bold lines on these pencils, and then I'll be ready to color. So I am going to use some Copic markers. The Copic marker colors that I'm using, you can either see in the video in a minute when I start coloring, or you can click on the title of the video and I will show you exactly the colors that I'm using to bring this together. But I like to start with the lighter shades. So in this case, I'm starting with my light gray. I'm using my dark gray to go ahead and add a shadow, and then I'm coming back with my lighter shade gray to blend it out. Again, all of the color combinations are going to be listed below for you. So now, voiceovers, these are not my normal video. If you guys have been with me for a while now, I think I have over 700 videos on my channel, and I only have a handful of voiceovers, but we are getting to the summertime. Summertime means that I don't have kiddos in school, and also my daughter loves to craft with me in the evenings, and I love making time to do so with her. It's a nice time for us to put on some worship music and enjoy just spending time together. So if you do see me do a voiceover, that means I am having some quality time with my family while also still being able to create some content for you all. So this is not normal, but you might see one once a month on my channel during the summertime. All right, so finishing up this coloring, as I keep adding the colors, you're going to see it just come to life, and I love that look. So I'm gonna put on some music so you can relax as I finish up this coloring and enjoy. All right, I wish I could color that fast in real life. I sped that up, and it's so relaxing to watch a sped up coloring process. Now I'm bringing in my mini trimmer because I'm going to trim this down to an A2 size, and A2 is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I'm just going to trim that to size because I'm going to be using these pre-made shaker covers, which you'll see in a moment. So I want to make sure that this is trimmed down to the exact size of the shaker cover. So these are wonderful shaker covers. They're already pre-made. It makes making a shaker card so easy. They do have a clear film on the front to protect that beautiful acetate, so you'll want to take that off and then flip it on over so you can see the 3M tape. You are going to go ahead and fold each side in because we are going to wrap this around our panel that we just did, so that pencil paper that we just colored. Once I do that, I'm going to take the tape off of 3 sides of this panel, and what I'm going to do is leave that 4th side with the tape still on because that's where I'm going to add my shaker fill. Now I'm going to grab my paper and I'm going to slip it on inside, and I'm going to close the 3 edges so I have just one opening at the top there. So I'll close this bottom part and then the right and the left, and this is nice and strong adhesive, so it makes making a shaker card so easy. You don't have to do any buildup with the foam tape. If you just want to make a quick card that's a shaker, grab some of these. I'll link it down below. So there we go. Now we have a shaker card that is a full panel shaker card, which is even more beautiful. I did find this beautiful kind of iridescent glitter at the closeout sale for Joann, and I went ahead and picked up up a couple tubes of that because it was so pretty. I do end up putting some back in. I got too much. And then I have this other beautiful yellow sequins from Spellbinders, I believe, and I'll try to link it down below for you. Now I'm going to go ahead and close all of that sequin fill inside by closing that fourth edge. And there we go. Isn't that pretty? It's so fun, and some of that glitter sticks on the paper, which makes it so beautiful because it looks like there is a glitter paper behind there. Okay, we are going to use this stamp and die set. It is gorgeous, and I'm going to list this down below for you as well. There are so many options for sentiments using just this one set, and I'm going to use a nice gray cardstock for my shadow layer, and then I'll cut out a couple pieces of white cardstock with this die that says Youth. So this is the inside layer that we are going to cut out 2 times so that we can have a bit of dimension. So I'm going to run it through once, then twice, and then we're going to glue these all together. This is a great way to add just a little bit of texture to your card. Now I'm going to grab some tweezers. I have a fine tip glue bottle, which is worth every penny because it makes for gluing in tiny places so much easier. I'm going to glue those 2 pieces together, and then those 2 pieces are going to go on our nice gray shadow layer. And I just love the tone of this card. I'm trying to use all of the colors of the pencil on the additional elements. Now I'm grabbing the stamp set. I'm going to use Grateful For so that our whole sentiment is grateful for you. And again, that stamp set is amazing because you can do so many different types of sentiments. I'm going to add an anti-static powder, and this is going to neutralize my paper so that when I add my embossing powder, it only sticks to where I am adding this kind of inky glue is what I'm adding right now. So here's the embossing powder, and because I added that anti-static powder originally, it's that powder that makes it look all kind of cloudy on the background, but it allows it so that the white powder that I put on there only sticks where the glue is present and it doesn't get everywhere else on the paper. And I'm using a tiny little makeup brush just to brush off any other little areas that it may have gotten on. With a hot heat tool, I'm going to melt the powder, and then I can rub off that anti-static powder just with my sleeve. I'm just gonna fussy cut this out, and I'm not mad about the results. It ends up turning out really good, but I took my time to make sure that that looks all nice and aligned. And then I'm gonna use a gray card base that is the same as my shadow layer. I just thought it was nice and soft, and it just really added to the color palette. So now what I need to do is attach my shaker panel to my card base, and I'm going to use a tape runner here, but you can use any adhesive that you wish. I'm bringing back my Score Buddy to help with alignment once again, so that if the card base is aligned up in the top left corner, I can just line up my panel with it, and then it's all perfectly in place. All right, now we'll add the final sentiment. I'm trying to decide if I want to layer them or have them one on top of the next. You really can't go wrong. Both look so cute. But what I do know is that I definitely want to add a little bit more dimension. So I am going to grab some foam squares. I have these in 2 sizes, but I'll use the larger ones for my U. And then I'm going to bring in my tweezers to help me align this. It kind of just gets my fingers out of the way so that I can really visually see where I want this lined up. Then I'll grab those smaller foam squares for my Grateful For sentiment. They're nice and small. I even cut them down even more so they're nice and skinny, so I can add that to the top. Again, you could add it over the U as well, but I love the look of doing a right justification for the top tiny sentiment, and I love how that looks. I'm not going to add any additional embellishments because the shaker is the embellishment. It's just so gorgeous, and I am thrilled with how this turned out. Plus, it's super fast and easy. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you all next time.